Okay, so what I'm thinking is that I'm just taking a look at our journal here, and I think it's high time that we get back into some of the big stuff here, trying to probably add one more member to our squad right now. And when it comes to what we'd like to prioritize there, I'm thinking next on our list might be the dossier for the convict. So, as a reminder, I think we've read this at least once before, but Jack, no last name known, is known for exceptional biotic ability. Though she has a criminal background, currently in custody, Jack is rumored to be the most powerful human biotic ever encountered. That's it's quite a title. It's quite a resume she's built up. Very little additional data regarding Jack is available, except that the subject has a history of violence and should be approached carefully. Currently, Jack is being held on the Turian prison ship Purgatory. Cerberus has negotiated for the prisoner's release. So we are quite literally breaking this person out of prison in order to, recruit them to our squad. What could possibly go wrong, right? I mean, come on. I mean, surely this is going to go totally according to plan. But anyways, so I'm thinking that's probably next on our list. We have, of course, started to accumulate a fair number of resources and credits, but I think we want to do a little bit more saving, and then once we've done that, I'm thinking that we can start to splurge a bit more on various upgrades and maybe head back to the Citadel to purchase some stuff there as well. But we have at least a better sense of what our options are with regard to all that stuff. So, let's I suppose take a closer look at where exactly we're supposed to go for this. It is Purgatory, like we were saying, but where is that? Prison ship Purgatory is, somewhere. However, if we open up our galaxy map here, we may find that we'll get a better look at where that stuff is. So, let's see. We actually, of course, after having recruited Kasumi, we have learned about her loyalty mission, which is actually in the same system here. But I think we're probably going to wait a little bit before we opt to do that. Just take a quick look at our fuel station here. How are we doing from a fuel standpoint? Oh, well, doing fine. Doing quite fine from that standpoint. We are fully topped off. In which case, here we go. So, now that we have looked at the galaxy as a whole, we can actually see specifically where Purgatory is, and since we're looking to recruit the convict, looks like this is the place we are looking to go. And we still have several other systems that we, of course, have not even started to explore. We were previously over here in the Omega Nebula, where we started exploring the Omega. We'll head back there a little bit later because, of course, we're not fully done with that. We even found a side quest there that we opted not to do just yet. That's something we'll do in the not-so-distant future, I think. So, let's head over this way. And let's see. So, yeah, the prison ship Purgatory is, in fact, right here in this system. But before we hop in there, let's just take a quick look at what else is around here, including this ginormous planet here. Is it just me? Or is that bigger than the sun, or the star, in this system? Because it kind of looks like, I don't know if that's like, kind of, sort of, just a matter of perspective, but it looks absolutely ginormous. So it's Olokon Sky Harvest. It's a standard gas giant composed of hydrogen and helium. Spacefarers from Urinlay gather helium-3 from here rather than Orumila, as its atmosphere is much more predictable. Okay, let's just take a quick look at our scanner here to see, just moderate. So probably not a place that we are going to actually want to launch any probes. So, I mean, unless it has, like, Element 0, but I don't think we're going to see that, because generally we're only going to see that if we have indications of some previous system set up there with extinct races or what have you. So either that or actual missions where we get some kind of signal. Probably the only times we're actually going to launch probes on planets that have anything other than rich as their results. So let's head out from there. Next inward, we have another unexplored planet. This time it is Aganju. Aganju is an extremely large rock planet with a thin atmosphere of hydrogen and carbon monoxide. Abundant in both copper and platinum, the crust has been scanned by mining bots from Urinlay. But the specialized equipment to work on Aganju's heavy gravity, more than 5Gs, has created prohibitive costs, and so Aganju is largely unexplored. Sounds promising, you know, if it hasn't been explored and mined for resources, then perhaps it might have a lot of stuff here. Just good. And, decent source of iridium, but unless we've got obvious signs of element 0 here, then I think we're probably looking to pass, and again, no signs of other signals here that we'd want to investigate for a potential side mission, so I think we're good there. Going further in, we have this planet that is close to Purgatory. Let's check this out first. So here is Lay, or however you say it, which seems to be the planet most often referenced here. So, Lay is a garden world in its last stages of habitability. While its soil still supports agriculture, its animal biodiversity has fallen to record lows, and the most successful remaining life is toxic blue-green algae and insect-like pest species. A large Solarian colony is trying to restore biodiversity to the planet, but setbacks are a fact of life. No pun intended. Mineral and fuel mining remains lucrative, however. Oh, okay, I like the sound of that. And Lay has a thriving spaceport that refuels many ships passing the Terminus systems. So this sounds promising. Only good from a resource standpoint, but based on the description, I was going to say, there was some indication that perhaps this might be a place where we could run into some Ezo. And so, for that reason, it may be worth launching a probe here, because I don't think there are actually any planets that are rich on resources that have Ezo in them. So this might more or less be, you know, as good as it can get from Ezo's standpoint. So let's... We don't need to be absolutely perfect here, but that looks pretty solid.
Launching probe.
12,900 before we launched it. So yeah, a little over 1,000 there. Let's see. Any other sources, again, of specifically element 0 is the stuff that we care about more than anything here, because that is absolutely the most... Ooh, I mean, again, definitely do better from a platinum standpoint in other places, because that is much more common. But element 0, definitely the hardest to find. Oh, hold on. Got a little bit here. We're gonna get a little more, though. So even small quantities of it can be significant. I mean, this is like... Not that impressed. Remember that it is, does have sort of a logarithmic scale here, so there's a big difference between this and having it 1 or 2 bars higher, though then again, like we were saying, can't get too picky with element 0 because it doesn't get that good compared to the other sources. It's never going to be quite as high. So we might settle for this.
Launching probe.
My guess is it might go down from good to a lower level at this point. I did not keep an eye out for how much element 0 we got exactly there. It was maybe more on the order of about 500. Ooh, 500, but okay. That looks much better. I say we launch this and then we move on. Let's see.
Probe away.
14,700. Yep, a little over 1,000 again. So I'm thinking, you know, there might be like, it's actually a surprisingly good source of iridium. But that's borderline scale breaking. But ooh, I was gonna say, I didn't expect to see much more element 0. Thought that we'd probably more or less acquired all that, but okay. Alright.
Probe launched.
There we go. Again, 1,000-ish, I think? So, I think now we say we're good there. So we've got Purgatory right here, but we still have one more planet in here. And again, this one is huge. I mean, not only is it maybe a little bit smaller than the one out here, it definitely is, but I mean, this one's like right next to the star. So this is like, are they orbiting each other here? It looks like they would be at that point. A medium-sized gas giant, Orunmila, is close enough to its parent star to suffer massive changes in temperature during its day and night periods. This leads to powerful convection currents and storms throughout its hydrogen-helium atmosphere. Gathering helium-3 to refuel is possible for the hardiest of exploration craft, but lesser ships are nearly always lost in the attempt. Orunmila is within the frost line of its solar system, where icy-cored gas giants do not usually form. For this reason, it is believed to be an extrasolar planet captured by its star's gravity. That's interesting. It was not originally part of the solar system, but was lost floating around in the galaxy and then eventually got close enough to this star that it got pulled in. Let's take a look at this. Only moderate and no signs of any particular things of note here. And I don't think we're going to find any elements here on this planet, so I think that means no need to explore further there. In which case, let's head on over to Purgatory here, which is, of course, the location of our main mission here. So, owned by the notorious Blue Suns Mercenary Company, which we've seen a bit of them thus far already on Omega and maybe on a few other smaller missions as well. The Purgatory was once an ARC ship used to hold agricultural animals. Now it is used to hold prisoners, whether taken in battle or sold by unscrupulous politicians under the name of subcontracting and outsourcing. Rumors abound that the Blue Suns turned skilled or fit prisoners over to Batarian slavers, but few have ever seen the transaction and lived to tell about it. Its population is listed at 4,350, but independent journalists estimate it is nearly 3 times that in periods of overcrowding. Okay, so that's our overview of the ship. Let's dock. Okay, and so we're picking our team here. We, of course, have always had Miranda and Jacob. They're our original teammates, but we have recently acquired Morden, Zaid, and most recently, Kasumi. What I think we're looking for here is the Blue Suns when it comes to their specialties, because think about the various groups we've run into thus far. Blue Suns, Blood Pack being another one, and they are the ones that tend to have the Krogan, the Vorcha, basically heavy armored enemies that tend to have a lot of life regeneration. And so once you get a sense as to what those enemies are all about, they do tend to have sort of a common theme about them, and you can sort of strategize around them for that reason. So if we're talking Blue Suns, their thing tends to be that they have a lot of shields and tend to be relatively heavily armed. So if we're looking at anti-shields, that is one thing that we don't have a great way to counter, at least with our own character at the moment. However, Zaid, who we have only briefly used on the Citadel thus far, but never in an actual combat mission thus far, does have Disruptor ammo, which is an ammo type that allows us to deal extra damage to shields. So that not only helps Zaid directly, but if we can upgrade that far enough to get us Squad Disruptor ammo, it can help the entire team deal additional damage to shields. So I'm thinking we definitely want to bring Zaid for that reason. Then, other than that, Miranda does also have Overload, which does do especially good damage against shields, so that's probably a decent complement there, giving us not only the additional shield damage with our weapons from Zaid, but also with Miranda's ability. We look at Kasumi. She does also have Overload, so she could be another alternative option here, and of course would like to get the chance to use her soon. But there's actually some unique dialogue you can get here if you take either Miranda or Jacob along for the ride for this mission. So for that reason, I think we could either justify taking Miranda or Kasumi in the second spot here, but because of that little bonus we get for bringing either Miranda or Jacob, let's use that as our tiebreaker to bring Miranda here. Oh, actually, one other thing before we do that. I forgot. We can also cycle appearance here, as you can see, which is currently only something we can do for Miranda. Can we do it for Jacob? No? Only Miranda. Which, if I remember correctly, in some cases, that will actually give us specific types of additional bonuses for characters, and thought we might have gotten preview on this screen here, but perhaps not. We might need to look elsewhere for that, or it might just be that this alternative outfit does not have any particular bonuses, but keep an eye out for that, because that is something that we might want to be looking out for in the future. But anyways, like I said, I think we're going Zaid plus Miranda, so let's get going. Then let's take a look here. I think we were deliberately holding off before spending these points for Shepard, because we wanted to try to get up to charge 3. Would be nice. That would be nice. So I think we probably wait on that for now. For Miranda, well, she's used everything here. Saeed, did we even use his points thus far? Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, well, I was saying how we would love to get squad disruptor ammo on him so that everybody gets that bonus for the additional damage to shields. However, because we had to get up to concussive shot 2 in order to unlock disruptor ammo, he actually does not have enough skill points to do that, because remember, this takes 4 skill points to upgrade. So, I mean, it's still helpful for him at this point, but it's not until rank 4 that we can actually get that squad disruptor ammo to increase everyone else's damage to shields. So, probably still good enough. You know, it means that Saeed will be the specialist from a weapon standpoint. Miranda will be a specialist from a special abilities standpoint, but we're going to be kind of left in no man's land, because we were hoping to piggyback off of Saeed's ability here. But I suppose that means, much like we find ourselves in right now, a situation where we're going to just save these points and hope to get this unlocked soon, because this is going to be one of the key reasons why we want to bring Saeed along with us, because like I said, as a Vanguard for us, we don't have a great answer to shields. It's kind of our biggest weakness from an enemy's defenses standpoint. So I think we probably keep this. I mean, we could, of course, throw in 1 point here for additional weapon damage on Mercenary Veteran, but I'd like to save up so we can just get this as soon as possible, because I think we really want that. So I think we stick with this as is. But, let's see, from a weapon standpoint, I think we're looking good for shotguns. Love the Geth Plasma Shotgun for us thus far. Carnifex also looks good. That's been a nice upgrade for us as well. As for our heavy weapon, though, is there, between the grenade launcher and the arc projector, do we have a preference here? Let's see. Entire enemy strike team can be shocked to death with a few pulls of the trigger. I don't remember what's the what type of defenses the arc projector is best against. I want to say it might even be shields, because generally speaking, electric-y like stuff like overload, like disruptor rounds, those tend to be the things that specialize against shields, and arc projector sounds like it's, you know, doing that same type of thing. So that might not be a bad idea to stick with this. Why don't we go with that? And do have Zaid, who is using different types of weapons. He's our only assault rifle user at the moment, along with sniper rifles even. But we don't have any alternatives there, so another case of course, this could be easier for us to do if we had a little bit more experience to get those additional levels and pick up a little bit more gear as well, but let's try to get it done here, because of course, if we succeed, then we're hoping to recruit another member to our team. Alright. Well, here we are. Got the team. Let's see, it seems like so often our map is always grayed out, so unfortunately, no opportunity to look around there. Why don't we save now that we're here, just so we are good to go in that sense. And it looks like we may have a bit of a welcoming party here with the prison guards, so, hi. Hello. How are you? How goes it? Out of curiosity, so, before we do chat, anything around here we should take note of? Any explosive containers in case things happen to go awry, or loot for us to... I mean, that looks explosive, but anyways, how's it going?
Welcome to the Purgatory, Shepard. Your package is being prepped and you can claim it shortly. As this is a high-security vessel, you'll need to relinquish your weapons before we proceed.
Oh, see, the thing is, no?
I can't do that.
Everyone stand down. Commander, I'm Warden Kirill, and this is my ship. Your weapons will be returned on the way out. You must realize this is just a standard procedure.
See, but the thing is, like, we're gonna keep our weapons.
It's my standard procedure to keep my gun.
He does not like us.
Let them
Off to a
proceed.
great start.
Our facility is more than secure enough to handle 3 armed guests. We're bringing Jack out of cryo. As soon as the funds clear, you can be on your way. If you'll follow me to out-processing for the pickup, Commander.
Let's go.
Cell Block 2. As you can see, we keep tight control over the population.
Oh. Yes, I can see that.
Each prisoner's cell is a self-contained modular unit. I've blown a few out the airlocks as an example.
Oh.
The ship is made up of 30 cell blocks identical to this one. We house thousands of criminals. We can put the whole place in
Weird
lockdown
flex, bro.
on a moment's notice. Nothing goes wrong here.
See, that kind of sounds like a challenge? Let's see. What else can we learn? So, let's talk a bit about Jack.
Can you tell me about Jack?
Cerberus hasn't told you? Jack is the meanest handful of violence and hate I've ever encountered. Dangerous, crazy, and very powerful. You'll see soon enough.
Okay, we've been forewarned. Then, what about you?
How'd you end up running this ship?
I was in law enforcement on Palaven and got sick of seeing criminals escape out into the galaxy to carry on with their crimes. Bounty hunters aren't dependable.
You're not hiring the right ones.
Eventually, I hit upon
Saeed,
this
of course,
idea.
is a bounty hunter.
Keep the criminals in space, and the galaxy is a safer place.
That's kind of a strange way to look at it, but, I mean, I suppose.
You do this because you think it's necessary?
Every day I see the worst sapient life has to offer. Governments are soft, unwilling to make the hard choices. Someone had to stand up and make the galaxy safe.
Okay, man. You say so. You say that the expense needs to clear, though, before we can actually get Jack. And supposedly, the elusive man or elusive man's contacts or, you know, his higher-ups, whoever they may... Well, I mean, his backers are the ones who are sending over that money to allow us to actually free Jack.
Maintaining a population this size in space can't be cheap.
We can cut corners that governments can't, and each prisoner brings in a fee from his homeworld. These individuals are violent, and their home planets pay well to keep them here.
Interesting. I mean, it seems like this is kind of, you know, a black market kind of, you know, not exactly a prison ship that is running by all the rules, as you can kind of see. Gordon Curl here is saying that he sort of runs by his own rules. So it seems strange in some ways that these worlds that he's talking about, where he's bringing the prisoners from, are willing to seemingly pretty openly do business with him.
What happens if the homeworld doesn't want to pay?
We explain that we can't maintain the prisoner without their help, so we'll be forced to release him back onto his homeworld at an unspecified place and time.
That's
So it's an
devious.
extortion racket.
You don't have to agree with my methods, but don't question my motives. These are despicable people, and I'm keeping them locked up.
I mean, it's kind of twisted, but he does have a point.
Let's get on with this.
Have you had any escape attempts?
We're in space. They have nowhere to go, and they know it. But still, we exercise extreme caution. These are dangerous individuals.
Oh, that's a
We
nifty
have
tool.
many ways to control the population. I'm going to confirm that the funds from Cerberus cleared. Out processing is straight down this hallway. Just keep going past the interrogation rooms and the Supermax wing.
Supermax wing?
I'll catch up with you later, Shepard.
Okay. Pleasure to meet you too. Okay, so follow the corridor to out processing. Learn a little bit more about Purgatory, the ship. We've not really looked at our codex at all thus far, so that may be something that we'll want to... I mean, sure, why don't we read up a little bit on just the ship? So, let's see. I imagine... I don't recall exactly, but I imagine that much of the entries we see here are... There's at least some overlap between what we see here in Mass Effect 2 and what we saw previously in Mass Effect 1, so, you know, we maybe won't spend as much time or pay as close attention to this stuff in Mass Effect 2, but whenever we see something that is clearly very new or very relevant to what we're about to do, then it might make sense to take a quick look. Like, let's see, like FTL stuff, we of course know about that, but, let's see, is Purgatory under this category? It is not. I thought it, technically being a ship, would fall under that category, and it probably did say at one point, maybe it's a more location. Purgatory, here we go. Originally an ARC ship designed to carry agricultural animals, the Purgatory was taken by the Blue Suns Mercenary Company during a large-scale battle in the Skyllian Verge. In a years-long reconstruction of its interior, the Blue Suns repurposed it to hold sapient prisoners, supposedly because they captured so many in their conflicts throughout the galaxy. When media outlets started investigating claims that the ship was used for slaving operations, Blue Suns turned a public relations nightmare into a regular income source. Claiming to be in full accordance with Citadel law, claiming being the key word there perhaps, the crew of Purgatory now regularly lands on planets or space stations, claiming they can no longer hold their prisoners because of cost overruns. To avoid keeping prisoners under inhumane conditions, they will have to release them at the nearest port, dumping the scum of the galaxy directly into the local population. Faced with such a scenario, the government usually grants Purgatory's crew massive discounts in fuel, food, and repairs as long as they go away. Some even offload their own prisoners to Purgatory for a fee, grateful to have a problem relocated somewhere other than their backyard. Such unfortunates go in the dark depths of the ship, never to be seen again by their families or contacts. Purgatory is minimally armed with Guardian defenses. Though a cruiserweight ship, it relies on the Blue Suns fighters to prevent any attacks bent on jailbreak or similar events. Okay. That's a little more information about the ship in which we find ourselves right now. And, as we can see, got some Blue Sun guards here, and, is there, it looks like a giant laser gun. It's just one of those claws for those games where you go in and try to, like, select the stuffed animal out from the machine, and they're, like, rigged to never give you anything, or the candy. See anything down there? Not really. Okay. Let's carry on in that case. Oh, hold on. Here's something. Something that doesn't sound good. Might be further in this direction, though.
No one walks away from torture unchanged. Not the subject, not the torturer himself. Never
Yikes.
found torture worth the price myself.
Yeah, that looks pretty terrible. Pretty terrible.
Is there something I can do for you?
Is this really necessary?
There's no excuse for beating a prisoner who can't fight back.
This is a massage compared to what his victims went through.
This is beneath you guys. This is way over the top.
This degrades you as much as him.
We have orders.
You're not important enough to make your own decisions?
I admit, I sometimes get tired of this. Does this really get us anything useful?
Stop this. For your own sake.
Yeah, you're right. Call it off. At least for now.
Well, that's good, because that looked pretty darn gruesome. This guy's like, come on, bro. What's that all about? Well, you know, that was way too far. Way too far. And, of course, as you see there, we got some additional Paragon points from that, so helpful in that sense.
Hey guys, over here. Let me ask you something.
Oh? Okay. Okay, sure.
If you're buying prisoners, can you buy me? Man, I don't care where you take me or what you do to me. It's gotta be better than this.
We're here for Jack.
Jack? Forget what I just said. I don't want to go nowhere with you.
On second thought, I don't want to be anywhere near this Jack of which you speak. Well, in that case, can you tell us more about Jack?
Tell me more about Jack.
The worst trouble you ever saw. Mixed with some crazy and way too much biotic power. That's all I'm saying.
Anything else, and she might get me. Well, buying prisoners. Yeah, we heard rumors, suspicions, that people thought that perhaps the prisoners were getting bought in basically a slave-like operation, but, never, or at least, seemed as though there wasn't any direct confirmation, but I mean, this guy seems to be implying that that is absolutely something that happens here.
I thought this ship was a prison, not a market.
Sometimes people buy cons so they can do some punishing of their own, if you understand. Warden sells this to whoever can pay enough.
Okay. Well then, did you get interrogated like your friend next door?
Why are they interrogating that prisoner? He knows something?
Nah, that's Bimmy. He don't know nothing. He offed someone in the showers yesterday, I think. Guy he killed was worth a lot to the Warden. Yeah, sucks to be Bimmy right now.
So, I mean, they looked like they were not about to stop anytime soon until we intervened.
They're going at it pretty hard. Do they ever kill prisoners by accident?
Haven't heard of anyone dying. Warden can't make money off us if we're dead. Funny thing, though. The more a guard does it, the meaner he gets. So they rotate him through.
Yeah, that's what Zaid was saying, and how we tried to convince that guard earlier was basically saying, I mean, it's one thing, I mean, the punishment to the prisoner is obviously terrible, but at the same time, it's gotta mess with your head, right? Doing that stuff to someone who's defenseless, and yeah, that seems to confirm that, or at least back up that hypothesis that we had. But, well, I mean, what brought you here?
So, what are you in for?
I killed a few people. Only about 20 or so.
Only 20 or
And I blew
so.
up that one habitat. Small time compared to most of the guys here.
Oh, so 20 people and a habitat is minor compared to the other people around here. So that's the kind of company in which we find ourselves. Good to know. So, with that in mind, how's life on the ship? Sure, you got lots of kind and friendly people around here to spend time with.
What's it like here?
Bad. And you gotta watch out. Damn, but someone's always after your stuff. Your smokes, clothes, your pride. I haven't taken a shower in 3 months.
Oh, you know, you maybe didn't need to tell us that part, but that does seem like everything we can ask you about here. Why don't we carry
I
on?
should go.
Wish I could go.
Okay. Also, fun little fact here. Prisoner 780, and then do we have a prisoner number in here for this guy? Not sure we do, but I believe, technically speaking, that the prisoner number here, 780, is a reference to the area code for, what is it? Alberta, Canada, I think, which is where BioWare, the developers, are from. So that's kind of a cool Easter egg for that. And here's the other one, 403, I think is same story there.
I hear the screaming in my head. It's nice, yeah.
Okay. On that note, let's carry on. Alright, we've got stuff over here, we've got stuff over here. Again, I don't think we have a map, unfortunately. This is one thing that does bug me a little bit, if I'm being nitpicky, about Mass Effect 2 in particular, because unlike in Mass Effect 1, where oftentimes, after you do something, you can sort of double back and re-explore an area if you missed it, Mass Effect 2, as we saw previously in our recruitment mission for Morden, oftentimes, especially when you're on these missions that are sort of in their own discrete locations, after you've done something, many times you're not able to go back to that same location, so if you miss something, you can't really go back to get it, so it's a little more punishing in that sense, so would like to, if we can, try to...
Processing's through the door on the far side of the room.
Yeah, would like to try to do the classic RPG strat of deliberately going in the direction we are not supposed to go first in order to find any loots or talk to any people, and then progress so that we don't miss anything. And, well, see, the thing is, like, that looks like blood. That looks like blood. You know... What does this say here? OPC 307, not entirely sure what that means, but, you said outprocessing was, I thought you were saying, down that way over there, in the direction that we deliberately did not go. I just want to... Can we tap with you again? No, maybe not? Like is... Oh, what does it say here? Attention. Please do not proceed. Authorized personnel only. Don't mind if I do.
My apologies, Shepard. You're more valuable as a prisoner than a customer. Drop your weapons and proceed into this open cell. You will not be harmed.
I think this was the direction we technically didn't want to go in because this is the quote-unquote correct direction. Oops. My bad. This is exactly what I mean. We will now probably never see what it was on that other side. So... This guy is saying he wants to capture us. And so, times like this does occasionally, potentially, I mean, depending on how much of a completionist you want to be, does beg the question, is it even worth sometimes reloading saves in order to make sure that you can go back and pick everything up? Because sometimes, you know, it might just be a relatively minor conversation you missed with somebody or something like that, along the lines of what we had with those prisoners not long ago. However, sometimes you might miss out on, I guess maybe next level up would be quantities of credits or resources, things that you certainly like to have to help you buy things, whether they be direct items from shop or research upgrades from Normandy. It would help you do that more quickly and efficiently. But the highest priority thing would be there might be some one-off upgrades that you could directly pick up that are not available anywhere else. And so if you miss those, then no doubling back to find them, and that means you're just flat out never getting them. And especially because there are some upgrades you can only get once you have, like, shotgun damage upgrade 2 unlocked or something like that. I think we saw one of those types of things when we were looking in the Normandy Research Bay previously. So those are the types of things that personally I do take issue with a bit, because, you know, it feels like it's kind of, you know, unnecessarily punishing to say, okay, well, you happen to wander in the wrong direction, and so now you're never going to get to do this thing. So for that reason, I mean, I don't necessarily think that we missed anything big there, but, I am tempted. I am tempted just to see if we load back to see what we missed, because, again, it is a thing. More so in Mass Effect 2 than it was in Mass Effect 1, for sure. But at the very least, I suppose we finish this conversation because, well, we are in the middle of it.
Intentions with this prison, but it turns out you're a criminal like the rest.
Activate systems.
Well, so, seems as though we are now in combat here, and there's no going back. So we got Blue Suns here. So yeah, we can't say out of curiosity. I just want to see. We had an autosave, which I think is like right in this place here. Was it? Oh no, it's 3 minutes ago. Let's try this. I know we're gonna end up backtracking a little bit. We will probably end up repeating that conversation, but is that the door? Yeah, so that's the door we're back. Okay, so this is perfect. Right outside the door. So yeah, again, obviously we will go through that. We will have that conversation. I know I don't like save scumming as much as the next guy. I'm with you, but at the same time, there's you know, to a certain extent, if you want to experience things, then you might miss things altogether. In Mass Effect 2 in particular, if you go one way before going the other.
This is the Supermax wing. It's off limits. Out processing is back down the hall on your right. They'll bring your package there after the cryo-thaw is finished. Jack will be brought to you in out processing. Back down the hall on your right. I can't let you into the Supermax wing. This is the Supermax wing.
Okay,
It's off
so in
limits.
this case,
Out processing is
you know,
back
obviously
down
if
the
we'd
hall
gone
on
here
your
first, we
right.
would have
They'll bring your
understood from the
package
prison
there
guard
after
here
the
that
cryo-thaw is finished.
we cannot proceed, we shall not pass. So on this occasion, turns out definitely on the lowest end of things we missed out on, just a brief conversation, and doesn't look like that's of any particular importance. So we double-checked, just to be certain, but that's the kind of thing where you want to be particularly careful, because, like I said, especially if you're missing out on some one-time upgrades that you can't get anywhere else, then that does kind of stink if you miss out on them. So, well, now we will head through. We know this is what we got to do here.
Drop your weapons and proceed into this open cell. You will not be harmed.
He says we won't be harmed, but, well, what about saving the galaxy? We know how this plays out at this point, of course.
But it turns out you're a criminal like the rest.
Activate systems.
It's a trap! Okay, let's take some cover here, because we now know we got some Blue Suns heading over here. So let's activate Zaid's Disruptor ammo. Like we were saying before, really would have loved if he was a high enough level to get this all the way up to squad disruptor ammo, because I'm going to see a lot of shields with these enemies. I really got renegade points for that. A little surprised about that, but... Then Miranda is here because she has this overload, which is definitely going to be helpful to get rid of those shields as well. For us, we do have incendiary ammo, which is only, I think, rank 1. So it only applies to us. Gives us a little bit of extra damage, but is not going to be the most helpful of things, I don't think, in this situation, or at least only going to be particularly useful once we get rid of their shields. So, let's see. Miranda, if you could, like, actually get into cover, that'd be great. We do have some of these guys who have their shields down. Let's just take a look at... We have Blue Sun's Trooper, Blue Sun's Trooper, Blue Sun's Trooper, and that guy back there. Blue Sun's Centurion. So that guy sounds like he'll be a little bit trickier. So, let's see.
You got it.
Also, from a weapon standpoint, so submachine guns, like the Shuriken, tend to be better against shields, whereas heavy pistols tend to be better against health and armor. So for that reason, we technically can be a little bit picky here. We want to be really precise and try to min-max, get the perfect weapon equipped at any given point in time. I think we're going to stick with our shotgun here, though. Especially when we've got people next to each other like that. This guy's trying to flank us. And, oh, did we? Oh, we activated our incendiary ammo. Perhaps not. Alright, so this guy looks like he's the Centurion. He has what looks to be a special layer of shield, which is going to be a little bit problematic. Miranda's almost recovered her overload. Oh, this guy's still up. I did not realize that. As soon as Miranda gets her overload back, I will try to blast that guy with this.
Here we go.
Okay, and now, so we start to take a little bit of health damage there. So we're gonna hit a bit, but we could charge in here as this guy's getting a little bit low. We'll give us some shields back. Not as much as we like, and we want to be careful when we're doing this, but I think this might help to buy some time for our friends here. And then Zaid also has concussive shot, which is, it's a special type of shot with his rifle that basically, it's a little bit of crowd control, will knock people back a bit and stagger them. So that can be useful in situations like this. Fires, oh, that was the world's worst shot there, but gives us a little bit of time. Set that up. Alright, then they've got some mechs coming in here, the Fenris mechs. Tend to be quick. Rush us down if we're not careful. And I'm afraid there are more waves. This is a Legionnaire. Okay, so he's on just health. So that means Warp is perhaps a little bit better. That's against armor and biotic barriers, so, well, maybe not in that case. Why don't we have you overload the shields once more then, Miranda, once you get the chance. Thank you. Let's charge this up. Okay, this mech we want to get rid of before it starts rushing us down. So, Zaid, if you could, yep, stagger it with a concussive shot. It's down now. This guy is rushing in. Okay, so that's going to be a bit of a problem here. I missed that, I'm fairly certain. Miranda, if you could overload him. He's flanking Zaid. Not good. Miranda, if you could, like, actually overload him. That is kind of what I asked you to do. Thank you. Let's charge him because he's way too close. And let's concussive shot him because he's still way too close.
Enemy down.
Okay, he's dead. So now we just have some basic troopers here. And there is a Fenris mech still down there. Okay, we could charge this guy. I'd like to ideally wait a little bit before there aren't quite as many enemies out here. Because at this point, we don't have that charge upgraded as much as I'd like it to be upgraded. Okay, this is a good opportunity for warp on that mech. But it is fast. Okay, let's charge that. Preferably Shepard. Okay, and it may explode. Yeah, it does explode on death. But this guy is still up. But not for long, I don't think. Still more coming. Again, they've got the shields, so that was the whole thing that we were trying to play around, right? Was that we were expecting to have a lot of shields, and they've definitely lived up to that.
Reinforce out processing. Shepard is loose.
Okay, another one of these mechs. Might be another one behind it as well. Okay, so they do have speed, but they do not have any ranged abilities here. We'd love to get Miranda to get her. Oh, hold on. There's more mechs where they, or rather, more soldiers where those came from. So let's warp them. Not necessarily sure we wanted to move up like this. might have wanted to maintain as much different distance as we could. Okay, so notably Zaid cannot effectively use concussive shot when we're going against enemies that have shields. Yeah, turns out giving up our weapons would have been a bad idea. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? It's not like the plan all along was to trap us over here. Okay, let's see. So... Oh, that's... Oh, did we run out of... Hold on. Did we run out of ammo on our shotgun? No, we did not. We should be using that. Okay, this mech is going to rush us down. Fortunately, it's almost down. Let's see. I mean, we could concussive shot it. It's maybe a little bit overkill. I'd love to just poke it. Did we successfully poke it? I think we did. This mech, fortunately, is just chilling over there. Why don't we take a moment here with Miranda to get rid of its armor. Now, let's... Guess we... Let's take this opportunity here. Charge up a big shot. Oh, I swear, I keep on missing with the shotgun here. Not doing us any favors in that sense. But I'd like to save the concussive shot for this guy as he starts charging us here. Like so. Because he's got the speed. Then let's take this opportunity to charge him. Just make sure we don't have anything big over here. Remember, though, it will explode. I was going to say, we can deliberately charge him to get our shields back, but he will explode on death, so we might just be putting ourselves in harm's way in that sense. Looks like that's the last of them. So let's take a moment here to pick up any ammo we might find in the area, because we are certainly blowing through it fairly quickly here, and we definitely would like to be using our shotgun to the extent possible. It is best for damage.
Let's get Jack out of the freezer.